He was the cool spy who changed the way people thought about James Bond for a whole generation. He was always stylish, never flaked, and undeniably charming, but he was only on the big screen. Sir Roger Moore had a life that was much more complicated than the parts he played. He raised a close-knit family and lived in beautiful homes all over Europe. Moore's real life is full of warmth, resilience, and an unspoken sadness that marked his last years. When he died in 2017, he left behind a legacy that was more than cinematic. It was deeply personal. In this video, we explore the rarely told story of Roger Moore's children, the luxurious homes he used to call home, the touching details of his death, and the surprising amount of money he left behind before he became the world's most charming spy. It was October 14, 1927, and Roger Moore was a young boy from Stockwell, London. He had big plans that went beyond his humble beginnings. Roger London police officer George Alfred Moore and Lillian Lily Pope had one kid, George Moore. Lillian Lily Pope was from an English family with roots in Kolkata, India. His youth was shaped by the times. Like many British kids, he grew up during the chaos of World War II. Roger had to leave London for safety reasons and spent some of his school years in Halsworthy, Devon, and later at Loniston College in Cornwall. He finished his education at Dr. Challoner's Grammar School in Buckinghamshire. Roger's early goals weren't always to become an actor. He started out as an apprentice at an animation company, but that chapter ended quickly when he was fired for messing up some animation cells. Fate, on the other hand, had other ideas. A turning point came when Roger's dad met film director Brian Desmond Hurst while looking into a theft. That meeting would quickly change everything. Moore's life. Hurst gave young Roger a small part as an extra in the 1945 movie Caesar and Cleopatra. But it wasn't just his acting that got people's attention. Roger also charmed the crew, especially the women on set. Hurst was so impressed that he paid Moore's tuition at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RA, which is one of the best acting schools in the UK. Moore studied acting with some of Britain's best actors, such as Lois Maxwell, who later became famous as Miss Moneypenny in the James Bond movies. It was during these early lessons that Roger developed the calm and relaxed screen presence that would become his trademark after graduating from RA in 1945. Moore's life took another important turn when, just after World War II, he was 18 years old and signed up for national service. On September 21, 1946, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Royal Army Service Corps. Moore worked in the Combined Services Entertainment section, where he helped plan shows for British troops. He eventually became a captain and was put in charge of a small depot in West Germany, where he took care of performers traveling through Hamburg. Before Sir Roger Moore became a movie star, he did his time in quiet obscurity. In his early years as an actor, he had small roles in British movies like Perfect Strangers that were not credited to him. Cleopatra and Caesar in Piccadilly, The Gaiety Incident. The True and Paper Orchid by George Trotty people may not have noticed these short parts, but they set the stage for a career that would last for decades and cross continents in the early 1950s. Moore did modeling in addition to acting. He was the suave face of lifestyle products in British print ads. His chiseled good looks and polished charm made him a perfect fit for a growing post-war consumer culture that wanted to associate glamour with everyday items. This exposure helped him get into the entertainment business, which led him to the United States, where he started working in early television. There, he was in American versions of Julius Caesar and Black Chiffon, and in 2 episodes of the popular anthology series Robert Montgomery Brings You. Moore's big break came in 1954, when he signed a 7-year deal with MGM, the most famous studio in Hollywood. His first role with MGM was in The Last Time I Saw Paris, starring Elizabeth Taylor. It was a small but important role that marked his arrival in Hollywood, and he went on to have parts in the critically acclaimed musical biopic. Melody's exciting trip was cut short. The King's Thief and Diane, in which he played Prince Henri of France. Unfortunately, Diane did not do well at the box office, so MGM let him out of his contract early. Despite this, the experience cemented his place in the film business and helped him improve his skills after his Hollywood setback. Moore went back to TV, which would eventually make him a star. He was in a number of hit anthology shows at the time, such as Ford Star, Jubilee Lux Video Theater, and Matinia Theater. Moore's big break came in 1958 with the British show Ivanhoe, where he played the noble knight Sir Wilfrid of Ivanhoe. The show was a big hit and introduced Moore to a wider audience in the UK. He then went back to the US for the 37-episode Western series Alaskans. His next TV show was Maverick, where he took over as the lead from James Garner in the show's 4th season. But Moore didn't like the writing and quit after just 14 episodes. Everything changed in 1962, when Moore was cast as Simon Templar in the British mystery thriller The Saint, which was based on Leslie Charteris' best-selling books. The show ran until 1969 and made Moore a global TV star by playing a debonair, smart, roguishly charming hero with a strong sense of justice. Moore made the role his own, which delighted viewers on both sides of the Atlantic. The show's international success set the stage for the next and most famous part of Moore's career. In 1973, Moore was cast to replace Sean Connery as James Bond in Live and Let Die. Fans at first didn't like the choice, but the movie's huge box office success put them to rest. Moore's version of Bond was not at all like Ian Fleming's dark, cold-blooded spy. Instead, he brought a lighter, more playful energy to the part. Bond was a sophisticated gentleman known for his sharp wit and easy confidence as much as for his spy skills. Moore went on to play 007 in 6 more movies. The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974, 1977's The Spy Who Loved Me. Moore played James Bond in Moonraker, 1979, Your Eyes Only, 1981, Octopussy, 1983, and A View to a Kill, 1985. When he quit the part at age 58, he was the longest-serving actor in the history of the role, even though reviews of his performance were mixed. People loved how slick he was as the secret agent. His mix of action, humor, and charm made him a big hit at the box office in the 1970s and early 1980s. Long before and after his time as James Bond, Moore was always on screen before he became famous as a spy. He starred in movies like The Miracle and The Sins of Rachel Cade, Gold of the Seven Saints Crossplot, and The Man Who Haunted Himself, a movie Moore later called one of his favorites because it challenged him to play 2 roles at once. In the 1970s, he was in a lot of action movies like Gold Shout at the Devil, The Free Geese That Lucky Touch, Escape to Athena, and North Sea Hijack. In the 1980s, he stayed active on screen with movies like The Seawolves, Sunday Lover, The Pink Panthers, Cannonball Run Curse, and The Naked Face. With the goal of killing Moore dropped out of the movie business for 5 years. He came back in the early 1990s with Fire, Ice and Dynamite and Bullseye, the latter of which matched him with fellow British movie legend Michael Caine. Moore had small parts in a wide range of movies, such as The Quest, 1996, Spice World, 1997, and Boat Trip, 2002. During his lifetime, he always added a bit of class and self-aware humor to his shows. His net worth is thought to be around $110 million. Sir Roger Moore had a famous acting career and also made a lot of money. He lived a lavish life thanks to his success on both the big and small screens. He owned a collection of beautiful homes in some of the world's most desirable places, such as a grand farm in the south of France and stylish homes in Switzerland and Monaco. Moore surrounded himself with timeless beauty and comfort. Even though he has since died, the charm and sophistication of the homes he once lived in continue to show off the refined taste of the man who played James Bond so effortlessly. Today, Moore's old homes stand as quiet reminders of a remarkable life well lived. Let's take a closer look at the fancy homes that Roger Moore used to own. The mansion in Denham, Buckinghamshire is in the beautiful village of Denham, Buckinghamshire, which is only 20 miles west of central London. It's a huge 11-acre estate that used to belong to one of the most famous actors in movie history, Sir Roger Moore. It's now on the market for $7 million. This amazing property isn't just a house. It's also a piece of film history. Moore lived here during one of the most famous times of his career, calling it home while filming 3 of his classic James Bond movies. The house, which was built in the 1920s, has classic English elegance and charm that will never go out of style. Real estate agents have called it a delightful country house. The main house has 5 large bedrooms and a lot of different living areas, such as a cozy sitting room, a wood-paneled study, a well-stocked library, and a bright veranda. The house is both luxurious and comfortable. The inside has a boot room, a hall with games, a fully equipped gym, and a cozy wine cellar. Together, they create the right mix of rustic charm and high-class living. One of the best things about the property is the guest suite, which can be used by visiting family, friends, or even live-in staff. The annex can be used as a private retreat or as part of a larger household, making the estate more flexible. Outside, the grounds are just as impressive as the house itself. They are immaculately maintained.